Hello everybody and welcome to Lights Up, the official podcast of the WNBL. I'm Grantley Bernard alongside Sharin Milner and Shuz. We are rapidly honing in on the playoffs. We've got a couple of weekends left of the regular season. And round 17 again threw up some great results. Canberra won a game, Bendigo lost a game, we had a double overtime game.
Yeah, it was one of the most exciting rounds so far. Just when we thought we're easing into finals mode, there were a lot of twists in round 17. Starting off Friday night, Canberra Capitals winning 76 against Townsville Fire 68, and a bit of controversy to come out of that one, which we'll talk about later. Nicole Hunt was just outstanding, 21 points and 10 assists. Jess Foley led the Fire with 15 points. In the ABC Game of the Week, we had the Dandenong Rangers 87 defeating Logan Thunder 67. The Thunder hung tough till half-time, but Dandenong just pulling away in the end. Kath McLeod, 20 points, just on fire. Monica Wright had 17 points in 18 minutes, and Laurie Cohen continues her good season for the Thunder. Over in the West, we had West Coast Waves defeated by the Bendigo Spirit, 65-41. Second week in a row, the Waves haven't posted more than 50 points, which is a worry. Kelsey Griffin, 15 points, leading the way for the Spirit. Over in Sydney, we had the double overtime game. Townsville Fire again involved in a cracking match. Sydney Flames 91 defeated by the Fire 98, very high scoring. Alicia Poto continued her great season with 22 points and 8 assists, and Jessica Adair 22 points and 13 rebounds for the Fire. Fire shooting at 53% from the field. That, from all reports, was just about the game of the season so far. Over in Bulleen Boomers 98 defeated the Logan Thunder 70 in a convincing win. Rachel Jarry 23 points and 10 rebounds. The Boomers are 57-25 second half. Thunder perhaps just running out of legs and feeling the loss of Natalie Taylor there. Corinna Montgomery with a good game, 20 points and 9 boards. In the final game of the round, this one was billed as the match of the round, and it didn't disappoint. Adelaide Lightning 86 defeating the ladder leaders, Bendigo Spirit 66, in what was a physical game, lots of fouls called. Susie Batkovic got it done with 19 points, but the big four for Adelaide just ran rampant in that one. Christy Harrow was good for the Spirit as always with 16 and 11. And that was it. As we said, exciting round.
It was an exciting round with a very mixed bag of results and a lot of talking points. If we have a look at the ladder, it's Bendigo at 19-3 on top, Dandenong at 17-4, Adelaide at 15-6. Townsville rounds out the playoff teams at 12-9. Of course, that top four is set. Bulleen then at 9-13, Logan at 8-14, Canberra 7-14. Sydney 6-15 and West Coast at 3-18. If we go back and have a look at some of the results on the weekend shows, probably the one that a lot of people are going to be talking about was Adelaide and Bendigo. You mentioned the physical nature of the game. It appeared that the referees were, prepared to let things go a bit. Is that one possible way of undoing Bendigo in the playoffs?
Well, I think, they've undone Bendigo, but Adelaide, this is the second week in a row they've knocked off the top two teams. So they're definitely making a statement late, put us in our box. We were talking about them getting leapfrogged in third position. I think they're eyeing off a top two position in this form. They've certainly exposed, I guess, Dandenong and Bendigo do have great depth, but they're key players. If you get them in foul trouble, and that's what they've managed to do the last 2 weeks, they're just exposing them and running over teams in the last quarter. They've done it to Bendigo this week.
31-17 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and so I think we haven't talked much about their athleticism and their speed and fitness, but obviously they're well conditioned, and I think they've just been tapering themselves off a little bit throughout the season, and now they look like they're peaking and ready for finals.
Dandenong had a fairly good 20-point win over Logan, 87-67. A big stat there for Dandenong was points in the paint, 40-10. That's fairly dominant. Yeah,
Dandenong are just stamping every category, a different category each week, So 1 week they'll blow teams off the court with, a 30-4 run. This week they've done it in the paint. I noticed Carly Milovic played about 26 minutes. She's been averaging maybe 7 or 8. So not
and
sure
had the double-double.
Yeah, so Dandenong are just going to be very hard to scout come finals time, and I can't wait to see some of those matchups. And anyone can step up. This week it looked like they got it done in the interior.
You mentioned probably the game of the season, Sydney 91, Townsville 98 in double overtime. Poto and Ebsbury 22 points each for Sydney, big games. Jessica Adair, another big game for Townsville with 22 and 13. That is a pretty good tune-up for the playoffs for Townsville.
Yeah, it is. We said Sydney would be the ones who could, throw in the final twists in sorting out the ladder, and they almost did it again, but Yeah, from all reports, that one just sounded like an absolute scoring fest. The spectators got their $12 or $15 worth, that's for sure. And some quality players had some big games. So, yeah, I might have to get the tape and have a look at that one.
Let's quickly jump to Canberra and Townsville. So Townsville started off in Canberra, finished off in Sydney. An interesting one for Canberra was Nicole Hunt, who went close to triple-double. She had 21 points on 8 of 11 field goals, 8 rebounds, 10 assists. Her last couple of games have been very good numbers-wise, and she would have to take a lot of confidence and heart out of those going into next season because, in all honesty, she hasn't had a great season probably up until now.
Yeah, it's been a little disappointing. I'm sure she's disappointed, more so with the fact that she just hasn't been able to get her body right. So she hasn't been able to have a good pre-season coming into this year, because this one I think really would have been the year she stepped up and became one of the premier point guards in the league. So fingers crossed for her to stay healthy. She's proven what she can do. When she's on song, getting close to a triple double is huge. And next year, hopefully, they've got Lauren Jackson back at Canberra. Hopefully she returns and can really showcase what she can do at the point.
Those numbers do speak for themselves for Nicole Hunt. While we're in Canberra, we cannot leave Canberra without mentioning the situation involving Cap centre Bridget Dossie. We've got some vision of this. It's an interesting situation that she was cited and reported by the WNBL on the charge of tripping. That charge to go to the tribunal. But in the meantime, the Canberra Capitals have taken on the situation, taken it on head on, and suspended Bridget Dossie for the remainder of the season. They didn't feel that her actions fitted what the Canberra Capitals are about in terms of sportsmanship and all good things basketball. What's your take on it, Shaz?
Yeah, well, firstly, I really commend the Capitals on taking the front foot here. I mean, they are almost the leaders in the competition in terms of the professionalism, consistently selling out their crowd. They signed a new sponsor and announced that last week, so things are going great for them. They've got a great image, and yeah, I think they got on the front foot. It was a decision by, I think, the administrators, but more so the leadership group, which, I think speaks volumes of the quality of people they've got over there. And obviously, they didn't think that was representative of how they want to present their game and their image to their supporters and the community. So yeah, hats off to them for taking that step.
Yeah, very big on integrity, and that's got to be a big factor for everyone. And look, I know Bridget has taken steps to apologise to Rachel Flanagan for what happened. She's obviously apologised to her teammates in the league, and probably one she regrets. She does and has walked a very fine line at times during the season, and I guess the league probably hasn't seen a player of that, I guess, I was going to say character, probably for a long, long time. She does push the envelope.
Yeah, she's definitely a physical body. There's no doubt about that. When you're playing on her or against her, she's out there. Certainly there's been a couple of other incidents where her name's come up, but I don't think this incident should be isolated and, considered a blight on the league. I think it highlights the fact that the league is generally played in really good spirits. It's quality physical game, and everyone's out there, in the spirit of the game. I think we can put this one down to a brain snap. She has had a fantastic season, probably leading their MVP count. If she's sat down and hopefully apologised to the playing group and the coaches, and that's relayed to the supporters through Canberra's actions, hopefully she can rectify that part of her game. Like you said, it's a line, she crossed it. Hopefully this will teach her to stay just on the physical side of it.
That line, it's probably a white line, I think, with Bridget. Let's move on from that and from Canberra as we continue our talking points. Let's have a quick look at the playoff preview. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to break down each of the 4 teams, team by team. We're going to start with the Townsville Fire. They're 12 and 9 as we quickly look through some of their key players. Kayla Standish, 12.8 points and 6.4 rebounds. Jessica Adair at 10.8 points and 6.5 boards. Mia Newley at 10.5 points. Jess Foley at 10.6. Rachel Flanagan, the point guard, at 5.3 points and 3.5 assists. Against the top 4 teams, they're only 2 and 5. That's a fairly telling stat. Against Adelaide, they're 1 and 2. Against Dandenong, they're 0 and 2. and they've split both their games at Bendigo. What do you make of Townsville, Shuz?
Well, the good news is they've beaten two of the top three teams above them, so I think they'll take some confidence out of that. They do worry me a little on the road. Their form doesn't suggest that they're, I guess, as tough an opponent when they travel, but certainly when you've rattled off that even spread of scorers, and Rachel Flanagan, obviously not having a big scoring season, but in any game that's gotten tight this year, she's been the go-to. So they're hard to match up on, and any of those players who are averaging double figures can get up to 20 or even 30 points on a given night. So they're exciting, and hopefully they do play to their full strength at playoffs, and I think anything can happen.
Well, when you've got 4 players averaging 10 plus points a game, it's a good sign. A, you're getting a lot of contributions, but B, as you said, you can share the load, so it makes it hard for the defence to actually try and key on one actual player to shut them down.
Yeah, it does. And they've got the X factor in Olivia Thompson. She started off the year really well. I guess has been a bit low on form lately, but if she bounces back in finals time, that's another dynamic scorer and tough matchup.
I think the other one too is that probably the average scoring may not tell the true story about Jessica Adair, the import who came in, because just recently some of her numbers have been really, really strong.
Yeah, she's really exciting. If you haven't seen her yet, definitely get along when she plays against your home team, because she is an excitement machine and she can light it up. But at the same time, we know how dangerous Foley is, and finals is her time. So I'm looking forward to seeing the Fire.
And we do like people on this podcast who light it up.
That's right. Nice segue, GB. I like it.
And of course, Lights Up will be at the Basketball Australia MVP and Awards dinner on Sunday, March 24 at Crown in Melbourne. Shuz, is your invite come in the mail yet?
I think it is, yeah. All designers can just contact me for my dress for the night. I'm open to offers.
You'll be able to get a little help from Alice Kunick, our guest last week.
Yeah, I think I might just dial up Alice instead.
That is going to be a fantastic night, of course. All the major awards throughout the WNBL and the NBL, and some honours presented from Basketball Australia. I mean, we've talked during the season about who could be the WNBL MVP. Do you have one pick right now that you think would win it? Because there's probably about 12 players in the running.
There definitely are, and to not discount any of those, I'm going to stand strong, which I haven't done on this program. I've ebbed and flowed a little bit, but I believe in round 1 GB I predicted Christy Harrower, and I'm sticking with that one. I think she's been unbelievable this year. That's
not a bad call. I think maybe there's been probably a lot of players at Bendigo might take votes off her, but she has been consistent. Probably a lot of people would like Susie Batkovich, but she's missed some games along the way, been very strong and solid throughout. But I reckon if you want a smoky for a team that's not in the playoffs, even though some people thought that Sydney was going to be in the playoffs, I like April Sykes.
Yeah, you're not wrong. She's had a great year. And in saying that, God, I sound like a point guard bias here, but Alicia Poto has really slipped under the radar if you look at her numbers. I think she's second in their rebounding, second in their scoring. She's playing about 35 minutes a game and shooting the ball well. So, yeah, between those two, they've had fantastic years for a team outside the 4 and in the smoky. And I'm not going to go for a point guard. I'm going to go the other end of the scale. I would love to see Gabe Richards sneak up. She should at least get in All-Star 5, but she has really been the backbone in that Bendigo team that's on top of the ladder.
Yep, she's been fantastic. And I guess if we have to, give credit to the point guards, probably Cass McLeod at Dandenong. Dandenong's had a great season. She's had a great season. So, but, as we say, there's any number of players in the running for the award. We will find out who will win the WNBL Most Valuable Player Award on Sunday, March 24 at Crown. If you want to get along to that function, tickets are available. Find out all the information via the WNBL website, wnbl.com.au. And while we mention social media, let's get on to our viewer questions that come in via Facebook and Twitter. At Sharin Milner. You've been busy on Twitter this week, Shuz?
Not too busy, actually,
Sorry,
GB.
at Sharin Milner 4.
Yeah.
Not busy this week.
No, I'll have to get back onto it.
We'll have to crank her up.
Throw me some questions.
We'll send some things in. Let's get Shuz warmed up for the playoffs. Let's have a look at our questions we've got this week, and there's a couple of good ones. Rachel Jones, who has a couple of questions. What teams are likely to see significant rotations in their rosters for next season? Do you think there'll be much player turnover around the league, Shuz?
Well, GB, I think there's going to be a few changes to some rosters if we go through them. Look, I think Bendigo will retain most of them. Question marks over Christy Harrower, but she's on fire, so why wouldn't she continue? But if not, they've got a really solid core group of girls there that should return. Dandenong are a funny one. They've got probably 4 or 5 players who could attract big money overseas. So, if the O'Hays and McLeods of the world turn those down and they can, bring out another WNBA import and another Canadian import or, significant international, they're doing well. But, if O'Hay and McLeod stay around, kudos to them, or I'm investing in Jayco Caravans, they must be going very well. Adelaide, they're another questionable one. They've got a very experienced group in their core of players, Hodges, Green, Batkovic. So not knowing where those players are situated, I believe they are wanting to finish their careers in Australia, so fingers crossed they stay together. Townsville, I think, will be the big movers. I think you'll see some big shake-ups up there. I've heard a few whispers, possibly, a retirement or two. So I think they are probably on the recruiting trail already, just trying to fill some significant losses which they might feel come next season. Bulleen, fingers crossed they retain their roster after the year they've had. And then I guess Logan are a team that, has a strong core. They just lack a couple of marquee players.
Our second question today comes from Ali Curlis, and this is going to be a tough one for you given how much you like to talk. How would you describe this season in 4 words?
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's 2, there's 3.
No, that's my thinking words. Right, we're on the official 4 words now. Imports, athletic, physical, unpredictable. How's that?
That's pretty good. You did well.
I was going to go with Harrower, McLeod, Poto, and what other point guard can I throw in there? Veal, but I resisted.
No, you didn't. It got too much for you. You had to get it out. There you go. Well, there's the 4-word wrap-up of the WNBL season from Sharin Milner. And Shaz, you have the honour now of awarding the WNBL prize pack, which is... I'm not sure exactly how much it's worth, but it's probably invaluable.
I think it's priceless. It's exclusive to our people who write in their questions. And this week I'm going to go for Rachel Jones. That was a very good question. So congratulations.
Well done to Rachel Jones. The WNBL prize pack, courtesy of Champion, will be on its way out to you ASAP. We've only got a couple of weeks left in the regular season, as we said, and even though the top 4 is set, there are still some amazing games on the schedule as we come up to week 18. Shaz, talk us through it.
Yep, GB, round 18 looks to be another exciting one, the ABC Game of the Round. I cannot wait for this. Everyone tune in on Saturday afternoon or live stream Friday night. Adelaide Lightning versus Sydney Uni Flames. Both teams in good form. One team loves to score in Sydney. Adelaide have been very physical, so I can't wait to catch that one. Also Friday night, Townsville Fire are hosting Dandenong Rangers, so another top 4 preview. That should be a great one. On Saturday, over in Perth, West Coast Waves are hosting the Sydney Uni Flames. And also Saturday night, Bendigo Spirit versus Canberra Capitals, which should be another good one considering the week Canberra have had and their win last week. On Sunday at the Veneto Club, Bulleen Boomers are playing Canberra Capitals. There's no love lost between those two, so get out there, Bulleen fans. Also, Logan Thunder are playing host to Dandenong Rangers in Logan.
So some really good games there. The Rangers have got a tough double to Queensland to get them ready for the playoffs. And Bendigo and Canberra, even though Canberra aren't in the playoff bracket, that will be a pretty good game too, I would imagine.
Yep, absolutely.
If you want to keep up to date on the WNBL, you can do so at the league's website at wnbl.com.au. You can follow the Facebook page and the Twitter account, which is at WNBL. As we said before, you can get at Sharin Milner 4 or our other co-host at Desi Globe at 6. Fire in some questions for them and we'll see what we can do to answer those questions. And of course the ABC, the live streaming game on a Friday night, which is replayed nationally on TV on a Saturday afternoon. And of course our sponsors.
Always.
Which start with IINet.
And Champion.
ABC.
The Australian Sports Commission.
Sporting Pulse.
Sporting.
And ANFA. Shaz, we've got 2 rounds to go until the playoffs. As a player, how are you feeling about the last 2 weeks of the regular season when you know you're going to the playoffs?
I think you're just hoping to retain form, or if you're out of form, get into some form in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, certainly those top 4 teams are all looking pretty good at the moment. I might just have to dial up Peter Buckle, see what he's doing in Adelaide, so we can get myself primed up for 2 weeks when Lights Up gets into the finals.
There you go. Well, we are heading to the playoffs just like the other teams, and I'm not sure we've been in form, but we will try and get in form over the last 2 weeks of the regular season, and hopefully by next week we'll be doing a little better. That's it for this week on Lights Up.